Hey everyone, welcome back to Tech Vibes. Today we're fixing a common mistake when upgrading your PS5 SSD. Place your PS5 on a clean, flat surface and make sure the PS5 is completely powered off. Unplug every cable from the PS5 including the HDMI cable and power cable. Turn the PS5 horizontally with the disk drive side facing up if you have one. Gently lift the PS5 cover panel from the corner and slide it off to expose the PS5 fan area. Now locate the PS5 SSD expansion slot near the top of the PS5. Carefully remove the metal cover of the PS5 SSD slot using a standard screwdriver. Before touching the PS5 SSD, ground your hands by touching metal to avoid static damage. Slowly remove the PS5 SSD screw and spacer from the PS5 SSD slot. This is where the most common PS5 SSD mistake happens. Many people install the PS5 SSD without adjusting the spacer to match the SSD length. Check the length of your PS5 SSD module carefully. Move the spacer to the exact hole that matches your PS5 SSD size. Now gently place the PS5 SSD into the slot at a slight angle. Press the PS5 SSD down gently so it sits flat and secure. Use the screw to tighten the PS5 SSD into place. Do not over-tighten the screw on the PS5 SSD. Now check the next important part of the PS5 SSD installation. The PS5 requires a proper heatsink over the PS5 SSD. If the heatsink is too small, the PS5 SSD can overheat. If the heatsink is too large, the PS5 SSD cover will not close properly. Place the correct size heatsink directly on the PS5 SSD. Make sure the heatsink is sitting flat and making full contact with the PS5 SSD. Attach the heatsink retention clips or adhesive if your heatsink includes them. Now try placing the PS5 SSD metal cover back over the slot. If it does not close smoothly, the heatsink size is incorrect. Never run the PS5 without the metal cover installed. The metal cover helps regulate airflow inside the PS5. Reinstall the metal cover and tighten it securely. Slide the PS5 outer cover back into place on the PS5. Press down to snap the PS5 cover securely. Now place the PS5 back upright and reconnect all cables. Plug in the PS5 power cable firmly. Plug in the PS5 HDMI cable securely. Turn on the PS5 using the PS5 power button. Wait for the PS5 to fully boot to the home screen. Navigate to the PS5 settings menu. Scroll to storage and select it. Choose M.2 SSD storage to view your PS5 SSD details. If the PS5 detects the SSD, everything is installed correctly. If the PS5 asks to format the SSD, select Format. Allow the PS5 to complete the formatting process. Avoid interrupting this step while the PS5 is formatting. Once complete, return to the PS5 home screen. Start a game stored on the PS5 SSD to test performance. If the PS5 runs smoothly without crashing, the fix worked. If the PS5 overheats, the heatsink still may be incorrect. Power off the PS5 and recheck the heatsink if needed. Always research PS5 compatible heatsinks before installation. Cheap heatsinks can cause PS5 SSD thermal problems. Quality heatsinks help the PS5 run cooler and faster. Take your time when upgrading PS5 hardware to avoid issues. Never force any part when assembling the PS5 SSD. Always handle the PS5 SSD gently during installation. Make sure the PS5 stays well ventilated during use. Avoid placing the PS5 in enclosed spaces where heat builds up. Regularly clean dust from the PS5 air vents. This keeps the PS5 running cool and increases lifespan. Thanks for watching Tech Vibes, and I hope this fix helped your PS5. Make sure to like, subscribe,